video es presentado por el Sistema Ciencia Garza Educativa de la Universidad Autónoma del Estado de Hidalgo. Para mayor información, visítanos en www.uaeh.edu.mx. Gracias por aprender.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy buenos días. Mi nombre es Ana Yuridia Morales Flores. Soy maestra de la Escuela Superior de Huejutla de la Universidad Autónoma del Estado de Hidalgo. Aquí en la escuela me encuentro a cargo de 3 áreas muy importantes que son cultura, deporte, comunicación social y relaciones públicas, y también soy maestra de inglés. El día de hoy les traigo la siguiente presentación que se llama Cómo escribir un ensayo argumentativo en inglés. En este trabajo ustedes van a encontrar información simple, sencilla y muy importante de cómo escribir un ensayo argumentativo. ¿Por qué? Porque bueno, para la gente o las personas que están estudiando un posgrado, una maestría o se van a titular, este tipo de trabajos es muy importante. Y bueno, sobre todo cuando nos los piden en inglés, la traducción es un tanto complicada porque hay palabras que tienden a cambiar. If you don't mind, I'm going to speak in English at this moment. So, the first question to answer is, what is an argumentative essay? So here we have 4 important points. In order to know or to understand what is an argumentative essay, we need to talk about these 4 points. To investigate a topic, we need to focus on the topic that we want to say. And we need to face an information that is previously published in some books, in internet, or in any source that you believe that are relevant for your topic. You can use them. After that, you have to evaluate the information, and at the end, you have to establish a position, because the argumentative essay is when you are going to say your opinion about all the research that you have done. Then we have, which is the difference with these essays with others. As you can notice, it's an essay, so the form, the structure is the same, but there are some difference, and as you can see here, this is the amount of pre-writing and the lengthy detailed research, because as you can know, an argumentative essay requires long information to research, and it's a focus on teachers, on researchers. If you are doing an international investigation or an international research or an international certification, this work has a mainly importance on that. So, firstly, we are going to study the structure. As you can know, it has an introduction, development or body, and a conclusion. So each part has different points. In the introduction, you are going to focus on the information that the reader is going to find. As in Spanish we say, in this part you have to fall the reader in love of your work. In this part they reject or accept your work. In the development there are the points that you are going to support with all the information that you found. And for the conclusion, if it's an experiment, you can write some results from your experiment, or if it's an investigation, it's the summarize of all that information with your conclusions. Well, the most important part of this information, of this presentation, is the vocabulary. What kind of vocabulary we can find in this kind of essays? Well, I divide them in 9 sections. So we have the contracts here. The vocabulary for this part is those ones that you can find here. However, in contrast, nevertheless, on the other hand, or instead. This is to contrast ideas. An author say that, however, I think this one. Similarly, here you can find a lot of synonyms. It's in order that you don't repeat the words. And those words are similarly, correspondingly, in the same way also. Okay? It's to put together the ideas when you think the same to one author. And then we have sequencing. This vocabulary is to explain a process. when you start with one thing and then this process continues. So here you have some magical words for that. Then we have order of importance. Keep an eye, because here in this section we have most importantly a word that is called primarily. This word is similar to the process firstly or first, but don't worry, it's a common mistake that learners do, that they use primarily as a sequencing word, but it's the relevant, it's an order of relevance. Explanations, that is to say, that is in other words, in order to, is when you are going to explain. What did you say and you are explaining your point. And then we have emphasizing, as a matter of fact, in fact, actually, or indeed. This word is to emphasize a point. When you explain, when you say something and you want to emphasize a section, you can use this kind of words. Then we have examples. Teachers, we used to use the same word when we are explaining. For example, this, for example, that, for example, all the time. But we have some synonyms, and here you have some of them. For example, to illustrate, for instance. Okay? And then, in order to finish, we have the conclusion and result. The results words are for those experiments that you have done and you want to explain the results. And the conclusion is when you are doing a theoretical research. So here you have these magical words, and as you can see, some of these words are similar in Spanish, but not all of them are known by English learners. So, when you are a researcher, you used to find a lot of information, and if you have a lot of duties, probably you lose the main point of the information which you begin. So here you have a sample in which you can put your ideas, in which you can follow your information. For instance, I am an English teacher, I have a lot of duties, and I am reading a book, but suddenly someone calls me and I have to leave that information over there, and I continue with my day. So I came back, continuing with my sample, with all the information, and at the end of the day, you have all of these papers, and some of that papers have the information that you need. Some recommendations. Okay, in my experience as a researcher, I could find these changes, because in Spanish we use comma to separate sentences, but in English it's not the same. So I recommend to you avoid using a lot of comma in English. Instead of that, use points or periods, okay, in order to separate the ideas. It's better. And if you are doing an international certification, be careful with that, because evaluators are very strict with that point. And well, in the development or USA, use vocabulary of personal point of view, general point of view, agreeing with an opinion or disagreeing with an opinion. So you can find that vocabulary in internet or in books in English book. So you just need to keep an eye on the information that you are using. So here you have the bibliography, and here I share my email. Please don't hesitate to send me an email, ask me some questions. If you have any doubt, please just send me an email and I will send you. If you want more vocabulary, if you want the sample that you watch here, so don't hesitate to write me. Thank you for your attention. I am Ana Morales, and see you in the next video that is going to be about how to develop a report, because those are difficult documents to write. Thank you.